Hey, what's up guys? Mike Locke here. Thanks so much for tuning into this week's video blog. For those of you who are here for the first time and you don't know who I am, I encourage you to check out my YouTube channel. Click on one of the links up above here if you're watching this on YouTube, or click on my website link below the video. Visit my website, learn about who I am, some of the things that I teach, and watch some of my old videos. I greatly appreciate it. For those of you who support me, on a week-to-week, month-to-month basis, thank you so much. I appreciate all the positive feedback that I get from my videos. It keeps me wanting to put more videos out, so I appreciate all that. In this video, I want to touch on the idea of content-centered design. I don't know if this is a popular term. This is a term that I'm thinking about, but it's basically designing your websites, your web applications, your web pages around the content that's given to you. A lot of times when folks are starting out in web design, one of the things you run into is you try to you think big, but you don't have the content available to you, so you might have empty pages. You might have pages on your website that doesn't have enough content in it, and what happens is your website starts to look a little bit not complete. It looks amateur, and it's a problem. And it's a problem that I faced early on when I was starting out. So one of the things that you want to do is you want to think about the content that you have available to you before you start designing anything. So if you're talking to a client and they're asking you to design a page for them, and if the content that they give you, or the content that you have available to you, let's say is an image or a paragraph, and that's all you have from your client, then all you really have to go with is a one-page design wrapped around that one image and that paragraph. Okay, there's no need for additional pages, because you don't want to get into a situation where you have a website with so many different pages and so many tabs and so many links. And when I click on that link, there's a coming soon sign, or there's an under construction sign. If you don't have content for the services tab, don't put that tab on your website. If you don't have content for a blog, if I click on the blog and there's nothing on the blog on the recent post or anything like that, get rid of that tab. And when you do come up with enough content, that's when you want to then add that tab back to your website. So when I speak of content, and I teach this to my members in my training course, is that content consists of images and text. It's the marketing message. It's the text that your client, the producer of that website wants to convey to their audience. So that consists of the marketing message, the body text, and all that stuff, and the images, the imagery. So it's your job as the designer to work with that product manager, that small business owner, that client, to get them to work with you on what type of content they want on that website. It's really their job to kind of provide that to you, but you need to encourage them to think about what type of content they want on the website, because it's hard for you to design something without content. Your site is very flat and it ends up looking not engaging. So some of the things that I try to do is I try not to design anything without first discussing what type of content, what type of imagery, what type of text, words, content, data that I have to work with. And what's going to happen is when you start to think that way as a designer, it's going to do a couple of things. One, you'll start to design more functional, practical looking websites, because the design is centered around the content. And two, it's going to allow you to kind of break that creative block, because when you don't have content, you're sort of in a zone where you don't really know where to go and what to do. But when you have the content, now you have ideas, and you can go on the websites and look at other websites on how they laid out the same type of content, and then you can apply it to your designs. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is when you have the content, one of the things that I encourage all my members in my training course is to go out there and use other sites as a guide of reference to your design. So the analogy that I like to bring up is, think of a painter. A painter, when he paints a tree, or when she or he paints a tree for the first time, they're sitting out there in the woods, in the jungles, or whatever, and they're looking at a tree, and they're painting that tree, and based on looking at what type of the tree it is. So they're painting it, and they're keeping an eye on that tree. And that's what I like to to bring in terms of web design. You want to do the same thing. So each every part of your website, when you have a section or a collection of content and you don't know what to do with it, you want to take that same content, go out there on the internet and browse other websites and look at how they laid out that same type of content, and then you want to apply that same look and feel to your web designs. All right, that's all I got for this video, guys. I hope you learned a little bit from this content-centered design. So start thinking about that, centering your content around your designs, and that's going to help you become a more, add more value to your portfolio and to your design sort of skills and knowledge. All right, thanks, guys. If you have any questions, shoot me an email, visit my website, use the contact link, and I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. We'll talk soon, guys. Peace. Bye.